Good afternoon, good evening, and hello everybody, wherever you are. Today we have with us Mr. Adama Seh. He's the corporate communication director at the Mano Palm Oil Plantation Company in Liberia. We published a piece of information that there are housing units that Liberians were occupying, and for some reason, the Mano Oil Company unroof those structures after they have asked the people to be removed. Now, the communication director for the Mano Oil Company disagreed with the information that was sent to 2A Radio by our correspondent, Mr. William Cromer. In the face of that, we gave the corporate communication director at the Mano Palm Oil Company, Mr. Adama Seh, to give his view or his side of what he disagreed with. So today we have with us Mr. Adama. Mr. Adama, welcome to 2A Radio.
Okay, it's my honor. I'm pleased to speak to the public, especially of such a unique issue.
Okay, we have published that the Mano Oil Company did not do Liberians well. Those Liberians are residing at the Eddy Comm company, housing unit per se, and for some reason, the roofing of those structures were removed. Do you care to comment on that? Why were the roofing of those structures removed, and why was that identical camp abandoned by the Mano Oil Company?
So the first and foremost thing, like I said, I have some professional issue with 2A Radio, and a professional issue I have with 2A Radio is, in my opinion, due diligence was not served. It was delayed. We now want to straightly say it was not served, but it was delayed because in as much as you have made every effort to reach me, but I think it was also important after ascertaining such pieces of information to get to us and also try to balance it. But Councilor May, it is always our responsibility as the position that we occupy to provide pieces of information when the public so desire. And so it is a privilege today to respond to it.
Mr. Cromer, before Mr. Seh, before you proceed, you said we did not do due diligence, we did not reach to you, but this is a live, view of the structures that are on roof. So the issue of due diligence, I disagree with you if you said there was no due diligence, because the first thing is the Eddy Comm, where the structures are, the structures were seen being on roof. It's not like some story that is being buried, that is not factual, that cannot be seen. So do you care to tell us why those housing units were on roof? Was it on roof by Eddy Comm, as we have heard? Or is it false that this building were not on roof? Because we have pictures, we have video, and then those videos speak for themselves. So the housing units are on roof. And then if for any reason you come into the picture, you want to give us some clear picture of that, you can say whether or not, because there's no argument about the house not being the unit not being on roof. The housing units are on roof. You have seen the video. It's not anything that we needed to reach to you before we publish it. It's on roof, so you have the opportunity right now to say, why was it on roof? We have heard from citizens that they were asked to be relocated, and for some reason, the management asked them to relocate, and because the management, they could not move so fast, that's how the management instructed that the housing be on roof, and that they were going to have those units repaired. So what is happening from your end? What can you tell us and tell the public?
So here's the thing. Like yourself on the section, the interview is not intended to dialogue, but we have to make something clear as well.
Right.
And let me see for the record, my argument is not that the area was the buildings are not on roof. That's not my argument.
Okay.
But when you publish it and say they are not doing Liberians well, and you make some allegations, it's only important enough to reach to the other party to listen, to hear from them. So my argument is not that the area is not let's say on roof. That's not my point. But the point
So
I'm
you
making
have the
is
opportunity right now. You
yeah, but we have to set the record straight, right?
Yeah, but let's go straight into it. The opportunity you have right now, granted. So yeah.
Since the opportunity is given me, let it not be partially given me. Let it be given me to say it, even if it helps the 2A radio management, give me the opportunity because you already given it to me.
Yeah, the opportunity is yours.
Yeah, let's go to the point. I want to give you maybe 1 minute history of how Mano came in.
Okay.
Mano palm oil plantation came in January 15, 2020 legally and took over the investment of Sendabi Plantation Liberia Incorporated. After taking over, they took over all assets and liabilities, and there are proofs that have even been demonstrated in the presence of your correspondent. There are people that Sendabi owed and Mano had to pay because the liability is taken over. Those camps are facilities that are constructed for the sole purpose of employees.
Granted.
And it is enshrined in the concession agreement. It is enshrined also in the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement between the workers' union and that of the company, that we are responsible to provide housing units for employees and their dependents.
Right.
In the event where we cannot provide housing unit, we have to pay them housing allowance as enshrined in the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement entered into between the workers' union and that of the company. If you look at the case with Firestone, with other companies, non-employees are not allowed to enter in the premises of the company, to live there, to dwell there. In our case, we have afforded some of the opportunities, even though legally we are not obliged to them, because we have extraordinary agreements with communities. Like, for example, we have MOAs, Memorandum of Agreement. I will enter into doing Sendabi, and we are currently using it because it is enshrined in section 13.4 of the Decent Work Act that every all existing documents until a new agreement is derived, that document must carry forward, must be used. So we are using the CBA that was entered into between Sendabi and that of the workers.
Let me ask you. This is some quick. We want to see whether we can take 30 minutes to our time. Well, let me ask you this question: at the ADA camp, was this camp given to citizens, a group of citizens to dwell in there?
So this is where I'm coming directly now.
Okay.
So all other camps, we have 22 camps that were constructed and turned over to Mano palm oil plantation as part of the assets. Because like I said, the concession agreement entered into between the government of Liberia and the company, and also the CBA between the workers and us, we are to provide housing units for our employees. So when Mano came in, Mano took over AD camp and all other camps, including Mari camp.
Right.
Now, there were employees that were already redundant during the Sendabi time. They were redundant.
And
most of them left from the AD camp. And some of them remained there. Some non-employees remain in AD camp. And not only some employees, but we have also contractors. We deal with contractor friends here. And the terms and conditions define the contract. We are not responsible to provide housing unit for them. So we decided to also give some of those camps into operation. We were carrying on we are currently doing massive renovation of the various camps. Because there's a particular recommendation from the House of Representatives in 2018 to Sendabi that all our best things should be changed. But Sendabi did not complete it. So we have to complete it because it is part of our responsibility now, saying we are taking over.
My question is, before you continue, my question is, Mano Oil Company took over the assets of the plantation to include Eddy camp, the camp that is in question. Yeah. My question is, residents in there were permitted to live in there by the Mano palm oil plantation, right?
Yeah.
So if the company allowed a group of citizens to dwell in that camp, the Eddy camp, how did that whole house get to be on roof? No unit, the housing unit.
Like I said, those that were allowed to live there were into the housing units were empty. We gave it to contractual friends. And here the harvesting is done per season. You go out to Bon counties, in other counties, you bring harvest up. After that period, you allow them to go back. So some of the area got empty, and some of those people that were not employees also relocated. Like I gave a situation of one of them that he can investigate. Sir Emmanuel, the entire Emmanuel family constructed their area in Bar. There's a bigger town here called Bajake that everyone of all moving is the second largest town in Bomi County next to Tottenham. So people constructed their areas and moved, saying they were no longer doing any other work around there. They moved in Bar. In the event of that, because like I said, we had a right to say, okay, we don't want anybody to remain in any of the camp. All we need to do is to vote. And it is the responsibility to evict people. But we did not evict anybody from any camp. So they left from there at their own will. And since we have had no use for the camp, because those people that were employees, we swapped most of our employees and provided housing units for them. So automatically, the criminals went in and started taking zins out of the housing unit. It was not a situation where we went to say, you have to leave the place, and as they are in the houses, we're taking the roof. No, that was not the case as it was being portrayed. It was something that was empty and nobody was moving in, no security living in the camp, and so they took it from there. So we are doing work. We can revisit to say, okay, if we see it is necessary because we pay huge money for our housing allowance that we have to use up there at all costs, we are going to either renovate or reconstruct, like we're doing in most of the camps. You go to Medina number 2, there's a camp here called Dina in those there. We finished all of the housing units there. We took the roof. That was no secret. We went there and we said we are reconstructing the place, and all we needed to do was to relocate our employees. Because that's
so are you telling us that those housing, the Eddy camp housing units, where those living there left those units willingly, and then criminals went in there and unroofed the entire unit? Is that what we are understanding?
Yes.
Were you able to apprehend some of those criminals?
No. Like I said, we have not had use for Eddy camp. Even up to now, we have not had use for Eddy camp.
But that's a property that belongs to, that's the property that was constructed by the BF Gorich, and an asset of that area should be government, by extension the Mano palm oil plantation. So since that's a major asset, and according to you, criminals went and unroofed those structures, where were your securities?
So the securities are not assigned from house to house. The securities are around. They are there to protect our properties. So like I said,
that's not just one single one. That's not one single house. That's several houses.
One day thing. It didn't happen one day. This is not one day thing. We have not been paying attention to the camp because it is our responsibility. This is our property, right? And besides that, if those employees are not living there, it is a burden for us because we have to give them housing allowance.
Right.
So those zins that were taken off on our roof on the area, it is our responsibility, and we have embarked on massive renovation. Your journalists can go around and see other camps, the renovations in changing the asbestos zinc in Dina, in Mare camp. We are doing it, and we will reach to even the Eddy camp because we need to put the employees in. But we don't do it, it becomes a financial burden for us that we have to pay housing allowance as instructed in the CBA. The law that was entered into between the government of Liberia and that of the company says we should provide housing unit for our employees.
Yeah, for your employees. Okay.
That's why
so from what I'm understanding, you, meaning the Mano palm oil plantation, is not aware of the housing unit being on roof by the company, by any power of the company, any administrative person giving directive for the housing unit to be on roof.
No, and also we did not evade people as it's been said. Management does not have the right to evade employee or non-employee from a particular house. It is only the court that can do that. The authority has to come.
Were you able to provide relocation plan, relocation incentive for those employees that were within the company that are probably redundant according to you? Were you able to make
it redundant?
Yeah.
It is in the CBA, it is in the Decent Work Act as to how to take care of them. You have to even transport them. You have to even transport them. That's what the law says.
Did you do that?
Hello?
Did you do that?
You have to give them relocation package. That is something that was decided between the workers and the company through their representative.
The question I'm asking, did you provide the package, the relocation package to those persons?
Yes, we did. It is compulsory that you do it because the Ministry of Law is informed on any redundancy. That is a responsibility. And the labor commissioners on the two counties, Bomi and Comm, have to compact. You can't do it unilaterally.
Okay.
So their part they play there is to ensure that what you are doing is done rightfully. And then you have the workers' union, their representative or their agents will be there to ensure that the right thing is done. You don't just tell somebody, oh, today you are redundant, go. No, you have to even inform them, you have to pay them the redundancy package.
Okay, Adama, we get that. Right now, you are informing us, or you are correcting the publication we had, and according to you, the housing unit were not on roof by directive of any administrator at the company. But let's look at this issue. There's information that 26 security personnel were dismissed. You care to make a comment on that?
Yeah, okay. During the Sendabi period, 26 security were dismissed. Why? According to I also worked for Sendabi. I was the head of corporate communication during the Sendabi time too. So I'm informed about the situation. They dismissed them based on a reason that was given from the Human Resource Department that they refused to go through certain training. And so they were dismissed after following all other grievance process. They went to the court and they had a later after the ruling came out against the company. But then somebody has already left. But like I said, Mano has taken all the liability as well. And so my knowledge, as far as my knowledge is concerned, as far as what has been told by the current HR office is, they have done a particular negotiation along with those 26 employees, and they gave them their pay according to what I gathered. And I spoke with some of them. They said, yes, they got a pay, but it is small according to them. And so they said all the negotiations are being done along with the Ministry of Labor to see them coming back to work, even though they gave them something like, I think, $1,005 United States each. But the negotiation is ongoing to see as to whether they can come back to work.
Okay, another issue we probably just want to touch on is are you aware of our legislative correspondent is on this broadcast, and he's saying that Senator Maurice Setuma has described the Mano palm oil plantation as being operated illegally. Have you heard that, or do you have any comment to that?
Well, I've listened to it, and I will be careful to respond to it. Okay. All I can say is they are the lawmakers, and if anybody says that a particular concession is illegal, they might have their reason of saying why they think it is illegal. But my knowledge, as far as my knowledge is concerned, we have a sale and purchase agreement between the government of Liberia and the Mano palm oil plantation. And even besides that, If it is illegal, it is also their responsibility to make it legal. So that is how far I can respond to it.
Okay, and before we close up with this broadcast, we just want to ask, how soon do you think the housing unit going to be reconditioned?
Well, we have, like I told you, we have 22 camps.
Okay.
We have 22 camps, and the renovation process is ongoing, is speeded. It is expected to be completed in up to 6 months. I wouldn't want to allow to you to tell you 1 week, 1 month, no. You go up to 6 months because Sendabi, for example, was given 1 year by the Special Investigative Committee at the House of Representatives in 2018. Okay. They have not completed. They didn't complete it up to the time they left in 2019. So it takes a lot of work because we have reconstructed this area, and some of the area we're trying to work on now, for example, some housing units have no latrine facility, and most of them, in fact, in the bureau camp. So what we are doing is we're working on it to put latrine facility, because you can't have a housing unit, right, and then you don't have a latrine facility on it. So it takes a lot of work.
I agree with that. But the Mano, the Eddy camp, which the entire structure there being on roof, we don't want to force you to say, well, I mean, the company sent people there. It is your reaction that criminals went in there and on roof the entire place. And that's something that I wondering why, no criminal was caught. It's not just, I know what you mean, when you're taking roofing from a house, even no matter what, you will get to know who are those doing it. Let's say they did it for the first night. Let's assume they're doing it in the night. The next day, they want to do it, or maybe after 1 week, they want to do it continuously. That's a company. That's a place where you're supposed to have security employed to manage all of those facilities. Because if you are not aware, I don't know how many housing units are there, but if all of those housing units have been on roof and the company is not aware, neither did a single criminal caught, it's something that we are baffled with. And we think that the management itself, should be able to either provide relocation package, as you said, to those persons who were residing in the Eddy camp, or be able to call on other specialized committee that handle this kind of situation, so that Liberians who are destitute, either being redundant or being asked to leave, can get a better place, a better package, and then they can go and find a place to be. So in this kind of a situation, we just want to highlight, because if you see a group of structures like that, standing, and then the whole place now in breach, one will wonder, what is the company doing? All right, we are not in the company, you the PR person, and we just wanted to see how you can address these issues.
Like I said, let me reiterate, the issue of housing units is the sole responsibility of the company to provide only for employees, as enshrined in the laws signed the governor of Liberia and the company, and also the Mano Palm Plantation Workers Union, and nothing more than that. And so the camp you talk about, Eddy camp, we have a lot of plans. There are a lot of camps today. If you look at the history of beer breweries, that you don't have roof on. The company decided at that time that, look, you don't have time for it again.
So how many camps you have that don't have roofing? How many camps? You said 22 camps, right?
Yes, there are camps. For example, there was a camp used to call Botoma. Today, no longer existing. You can only see, you go some area, you see one housing unit standing there, and there is no roof on it. So it is not the first time. It is management responsibility. It is even a burden for us if that happens, because we have, if we have those units, we will have to send employees there. Then we don't have to pay money. But the way it was already, we had issue with it. And so we already classified that, look, since the people have left from those areas and we already started renovating, no need to start policing the area, because we are going there to work. We are going to change the condition of those areas that we've done in some of the camp already, like I talked about the dinner or the football camp, like we've done on some of the housing units already in Mari camp, and like we will do also in the Eddy camp. If, for example, our plantation inform or the operation inform us, look, we don't think this camp is needed yet for the sake of our planting procedure, we have to plant palm. We will do it, and we will build different camp. That should be our responsibility. Before when Godfrey left, when Senda became the build new camp, Matamu was not existing. They came to build it. They decided to do it that way. They were Senda became. They are the one that built it. They were planning to build another camp. And so,
is there any plan to demolish those structures, the Eddy camp?
Well, except our technical team gives that advice. I cannot outright say yes, there's a plan. What I know is there's a plan to do improvement generally at the level of our camps. And if our let's say engineering department and our operation department advise us that we have to continue with the camp there, and we do the cost analysis that is advisable, then we have to do it. But if
what will you say? What will you say if group of citizens that dwell in those units before came up to say that they were asked out of that building, out of those buildings? What will you respond to them? What will be your response to any citizen that will come to react to your statement?
Then the fact is just the fact. You cannot let's say bend the fact. The fact of what will be there, evidence. Eviction, let me restate, is not the responsibility. Management has no right to do that.
That's so true. But sometimes people take power onto themselves and act before they think. So we're just thinking that that's why some of the residents of the area are telling us. We have video recording that, it was the Mano palm oil plantation that went in there, that sent people in there to unroof those buildings. And you have provided your side of the story, right? So let's ask you, what is your final comment? What do you say finally to those who will come and react to you? Because definitely know those persons we interviewed before might come out and say, okay, you know what? Adama Seh is in fact not telling the truth.
Yeah, so in Liberia, anybody can say the man is defending his job. Anybody can say.
And that's what they'll say. Oh, the man at PR, he protecting his job.
To prove that my job is not being defended, you bring the evidence that you were actually evicted from a particular area. Then you disprove me, right? Everything I said, if you want me to reference it, I can reference it. And if you want the necessary documents, like for example, I talk about the concession agreement, all you need to do is check Google, you will get that. The CBA, I can also forward it to you so that you can have it. What I'm saying is just something from my stomach.
We appreciate get some of those documents. Okay.
So 2014 and 15, and see also, then you know what Adama Seh is about justification of his job, or is about his action in providing the reality to the public.
Before we leave you, how is the general working atmosphere for a group of Liberians? Are Liberians certified working for the Mano palm oil plantation?
No, I wouldn't want to say they are certified or they are angry. I would want to say they are eager for move. And the reason is simple. Because this is a Liberian company. You had a company, Sendabi, that was supported by the Malaysian government, 60%. And so currently you have a Liberian operation. People expectation continue to grow. Even myself, my expectation grow. Whenever new company comes in, you want more. Your expectation will be that, look, the old people are growing, they are not good. So we want more, the new company is coming. So I cannot tell you that they are certified, but I cannot also tell you that they are angry, but I can surely show you that they want more. There's no expectation.
Anyway, that's man's expectation. You always want more, right? We just want to see that the company is doing well. But before you leave, I said that was the final saying, but we have a few comments coming out. And this one says, because Bomi, Kitmount, legislative caucus are not in the node of Mano plantation, Mano palm oil plantation taking over. This person is saying, and I think you can read, is from Shedrack Destiny Brown. He's saying that Bomi, Kitmount, legislative caucus are not in the know of your company taking over the BF Gorage or whatever company you have over there. Care to respond? Or
okay. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't want to pretend to be one of them.
Right.
But what I know about is I wouldn't want people to make serious issue political, right?
Okay.
For example, you decide to send William Krumah today so we can have this interview. You have the
Right.
you have that right, you have the authority. You can decide not to interview me.
Right.
To come to me in the public and say the Salabi or Mano concession is illegal, I'm not aware of it. What answer do you decide on me? This is not my responsibility. I don't have that right. I don't have that authority. So
I think okay, time is fast spent, but this is just an issue that came out, and we're going to follow on some of those issues, right? But you, as a public relation person, I think the fact that the company is in operation, and you have said that you have some legal document, the agreement in your possession, and the agreement has been, ratified by the legislative branch of government. I think if somebody said, well, the legislative branch is not aware of this agreement.
Oh, let me hold you small. What I said, the argument of the legislature is just, they are saying in as much for no concession between Mano and the government of Liberia, automatically the agreement is illegal. They have their own legal reason of saying, but I'm saying it's not illegal because the law provides for that.
That's your clarification. That's your clarification.
Between the government and us. Under the law, until new concession can be derived, and I'll give you the reference under your post. I said research on 13.4 of the December 2015.
Right.
Read it, and you will understand that all other existing documents that include the concession agreement, all agreements remain intact until you can have a new concession agreement. So to say that because there is no new concession agreement, so the company is illegal, I differ with them. I disagree.
Okay.
They should be saying.
Okay. All right, Mr. Krumah, we say thank you so much for honoring our invitation and joining us. Seb, you have any final word for our listening audience?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, it was nice talking to you. That's the corporate communication director at the Mano Palm Oil Plantation, Mr. Adama Seh. Adama Seh is one of those communication personnel in Liberia who is overseeing the communication matters of that company. He was responding to issue we published the last edition about Inside Liberia, and that had to do with the unroofing of structures that group of Liberians or citizens were residing in. But according to his clarification, the company did not relocate, neither asked citizens to relocate, rather citizens themselves relocated, and that those structures were unroofed by criminals, even though he failed to tell us whether any of those criminals were apprehended by the security at that company or the management team. So yeah, those are the facts, and you cannot judge for yourself. Once again, this is 2A Radio. We've been broadcasting from Pennsylvania, the United States of America, and we're looking into Liberia. That was the Mano Palm Oil Plantation Company. It was good. And our correspondent there is Mr. William Krumah. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant. The new year just started. We hope that you have your goals. You have started to implement those activities that will make you to achieve your goal for this year, 2022. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you.
Bye for now.